Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. DETH bringing you gaming goodness, and we are back with Death Wizards. We took our Necromancer and his warband through the first battle, assaulting the village. That was a little bit too close for comfort. Last activation on the last turn, I finally managed to kill the last guy. But yes, there were ups and downs in that game. Really exciting. Now we come to battle number 2. And for that, I've chosen to do the next mission, which is conduct a ritual. This is also difficulty 7, so I will only be able to bring a total of 7 rating of minions. So I'm thinking that in the first battle, we managed to get ourselves a new ghost minion, Mary Jane. I'm calling her Mary Jane. Not from the Spider-Man character, by the way, from something else. But I'm thinking of bringing the ghost instead of the wraith so that you can see how the different undead work. But yes, conduct a ritual. Your forces are seeking to take control of a powerful shrine and utilize its power to conduct a dark ritual. But this sacred shrine is not undefended. Now, this is actually one of the missions where I think it could have been done differently with different victory conditions in terms of you conducting a ritual and the heroes coming to stop you, rather than just the victory conditions that is the same for every mission. Kill the heroes before turn 5. But yeah, okay, well, we're going to do it as is written here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe later I will modify this mission so that we are the defenders. We'll have to see. Now, in this mission, we have terrain in our deployment zone, which is a forest, and it does specify that it is either going to be, where is it up here, a large forest or 2 small forests. So I'm thinking in battle 1, I had like 3 stands of forest. I think maybe I'll have 2 here, because it actually specifies 1 large or 2 small. In the heroes deployment, you have the deployment zone, you have a shrine, and you have a house. Now, the shrine does have an area of 5 by 5, so I might have to quickly print up some kind of base, which is 5 by 5, because I think my shrine isn't 5 by 5. Right, but we do have to roll up to the terrain for quarters 2 and 3. We'll do that in a sec, because there's one other thing we need to do before we fight the battle, and that is to find out who we are fighting. We are up against, okay, I've written it here, but according to the book, it says here, D3 rating 2 warriors, 1 rating 2 wizard, and 1 rating 3 priests. Now, wizards and priests are a pain, but we really don't want to get the maximum again. So we're going to have to roll D3 for the number of warriors that we're facing. Fingers crossed. Okay, maximum again. You kind of knew this was going to happen, didn't you? So we're up against 3 warriors, 1 priest, and 1 wizard. So we're up against a total of 5, but all 5 of these guys are much more kind of worthy adversaries than all the villagers we had last time. The wizard and priest do have ranged attacks as well as their kind of spells. So that could be an issue, but it also depends on what terrain we roll for these other 2 quarters, or these 2 quarters here. So now we know what we're facing. Let's just have a look at the quick rewards. Each necromancer may increase their necromantic energy by 1 permanently. Oh, that's nice. In addition, you may choose 1 additional necromantic power and permanently add that power to your list. Ooh. Now, it has been said by the creators that you can run these missions more than once. I'm thinking that if I spam this mission here, I may be OP, overpowered, because I'll be getting 1 necromantic energy upgrade and 1 extra power every time I play this mission. Saying that, I could fail it. Right, as if by magic, the terrain table appeared. We're rolling D6 and then a further D6 to find out what terrain we're getting. So, for quadrant 2, upper right, what terrain are we going to have? We're going to have a 4 and a 2. So a 4 and a 2, D3 houses. 3 houses. Okay, so that's going to be able to afford a bit of cover, I suppose. What about the last quadrant down here, bottom left? What are we going to have in there? We get a 2 and a 6. A 2 and a 6 is ruins. So, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a bit more of a crowded battlefield than we had in Battle 1, which is decent in terms of getting cover from spells and from ranged attacks, but it's also going to hinder my ranged attacks as well. Oh, I hope this doesn't get up close and personal because I don't really have the horde for that. Right now, I know that ruins, there are some special options. I'm not sure about houses. Let's go and take a look. Right, there are some optional rules for houses. They do have cover. They can provide you with cover. I mean, most of my house terrain does not have interiors, so I'm not going to include the interiors for this. There are optional rules: retired adventurers, abandoned shacks, grisly sites. I've got 3 houses. I don't. Might be a bit too complex and too many things for me to remember. You know, I keep forgetting stuff. But if we're not going to be doing the houses special rules, maybe we can do the ruins. Because the ruins, there are 2 options. I think I'll roll for the ruins. What have they got? Ruins, cover, solid walls. Models cannot move through walls of ruins that are more than 1 inch high unless that wall has a door or window. This restriction does not apply to ethereal models, of course. But I think I'm going to roll up special rules for the ruins since we've only got 1. So what are we going to get? We are going to get a 1. Cursed ruins. Whenever any model moves on or through any ruins with this rule, roll a d6 when this movement is complete. On a roll of 5+, the model suffers d3 damage. Ah, that's not good. Necromancers don't suffer this damage and instead may gain d3 necromantic energy on a roll of 5+. Ooh, okay. Necromantic energy is never a bad thing. It could have been Haunted Ruins, where I could summon shadows. Oh, dang it, why couldn't it have been that one? All right, so we have cursed ruins in one corner and some houses in the other. So with everything rolled up in terms of the terrain and in terms of the opposition, we are ready to go. So let me quickly set up the terrain and we will start Battle 2. Conduct a ritual. Right, we have our battlefield all set up. Over here, we have the heroes deployment. Yes, I have moved it around to make it a bit easier for the camera. But here we have the heroes deployment section there. We've got the house, we have the shrine. I didn't bother making the 5x5 base. It's close enough. On the top of the shrine there, we have our turn marker, a few little pieces of scatter terrain. Down here in this quadrant, we actually rolled up a forest, but for some reason I read the houses, but it's okay. We'll keep it as houses. So we've actually got 3 houses now. I don't have a huge amount of really small houses, so I've had to use a sort of medium-sized house as well, but 1, 2, 3. Over in the top right corner here, we have the ruins, which are cursed. If any of the heroes move onto or through the ruins, on a 5+, they take some damage. But it's not going to affect my minions because they are ethereal and they ignore terrain effects. For my necromancer, if he goes into the ruins, he gets necromantic energy on a 5+. So yeah, guess where he's going? Now, we do have a change in my warband this time. I think I mentioned it in the intro, but I am bringing along my new ghost, Mary Jane. And we've got our 2 spectres. Down here we have, I think this one is Lita, and I think Beth is up here. So the plan is to get rid of the priest as quickly as possible. So over here, the heroes deployment. We've got 3 warriors at the front. I know they're actually gonna deploy or activate sort of last. The activation sequence for this game is going to be the priest. What's the priest's name? The priest is James, the zombie side figure James. Then we've got Bob, who is the wizard. This is the miniature that I actually used in my 5 leads campaign. So here's the wizard. He's going to activate second. So the activation sequence for this is priest, wizard, then warrior. So these guys are actually going to activate after these, but I was thinking that just because they're activating first, I don't think these guys will be at the front. I think these guys will be the buffer. So yeah, here we have, I think I'm using a different figure here. This is Arnold, or Arnold. I actually painted him up to represent a villager, but I didn't use him, so he could be a warrior. So I'm using a different figure there. And then we've also got, at the front here, we have Scowl, same as we had in the last game. And next to him, we have Clovis. Again, we used this miniature in the last game. So you'll recognize these 2. So the aim of this game, as with every single Death Wizards game, is to kill all the heroes, all these guys within 5 turns. Now, this could be a little bit of a problem, but I'm thinking that I've got the right kind of troops to counter the biggest problem, and that's going to be the wizard. You see, the wizard has this ability where at the start of each turn, before any activations, if an enemy is within 6 inches of the wizard, it will teleport 12 inches directly away from the nearest enemy. So what that means is as soon as I get close to this guy, and if I get too close to this guy, he's going to teleport in the completely wrong direction. However, my troops are pretty fast, so I might be able to get around him and force him to teleport towards my other guys. Ha ha! That's the plan. The priest is just a pain in the neck. The priest does more damage to undead, and he can also heal everybody. So primary target is the priest. I want to get rid of him first. Wizard second, if possible, but the wizard's going to be a slippery little expletive word. But yeah, let us get on with it. So turn marker says 1, so it is the first turn. We are going to activate first. Activation sequence is I activate up to 4 rating points of minions and the necromancer. Then the heroes will activate 2 models. Then it comes back to me to activate up to another 4 rating worth, plus the necromancer. Then it goes back here, activate 2, back to me if I have any more activations, and so on. Now, another reason for trying to summon another creature is it's actually going to give me another activation. Because these are worth 2 each, so that's 1 activation. The ghost is worth 3. And if I summon another spectre, that'll be another 2, which means I can't activate the ghost and that spectre. I have to do it in 2 separate activations. So there is a plan to the madness. Right, let's get on with this. So we are going to activate the necromancer and up to 4 rating. So I'm going to move my necromancer. Now my necromancer has a move of 5, so he can move up to 5 inches. Should be okay, should be enough, I think. Yep. So he's going to move 5 inches. That's going to put him behind a lot of cover. And then for his action, I'm going to use his call to the other side. His legacy power, call to the other side, where I can summon a spirit to fight until the end of the game. Exactly what we did in Battle 1. So I'm going to summon another spectre. It's going to cost me 3 energy per rating, and I can only have a maximum of 5 rating summoned through this spell on the board at any one time. So if I summon a spectre, it's a rating 2 creature, so 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to be down to 12 points. Okay, using my nice new dice, my nice new metal D20. Right, so we have 12 necromantic energy left. Yes, it takes a big chunk of energy, but I think it's worth it. Right, and they are summoned within 3 inches of me, but they've got to be at least 1 inch away from any enemy. 3 inches. All right, so this spectre appears 3 inches, appears there. Right, getting ready to ambush. Now that spectre, which you can't see on the camera, but she's hiding back here. She can activate in a later turn, in a later activation this turn. Because the ghost doesn't have a ranged attack. They are quite good up close. They've got fairly decent stats. They also have ability Aging Vision. When an enemy rolls a critical failure, when they attack this model, they suffer 3 damage. So if the enemy rolls any 1s, they take 3 damage per 1. Also, they've got Absorb Essence. When damage from this model destroys an enemy, and it's not absorbed by a nearby necromancer, I think the range is, can't remember the range, this model gets +1 offense. Now, it doesn't say that that's only once per game. So if you can get your ghost to keep killing things, then the ghost is just going to keep chunking up its offense until it becomes a melee monster. I think 3 inches is the range. So if the necromancer doesn't suck up the soul, the ghost will and becomes stronger. Love it. Right. And I've got an option. I could bring the ghost around here as well, or I could bring the ghost sort of through the trees. Whoops. Through the trees and maybe wait here for the sort of warriors, because I'm anticipating the warriors to kind of move forwards. And if I move the ghost maybe up here, they're going to be out of line of sight of the priest and the wizard, but the warriors can come close, and then she can whack them. But the warriors do get a benefit when they're only fighting against single models. What's the benefit they get? Gets a defense of +2 when there's only a single model within 1 inch. So that could be a little bit of a problem. I think that could work, because I'm thinking that when the activation of the heroes, they rush towards the nearest enemy, I'm thinking that it still needs line of sight. So if I can hide the ghost there, they're not going to see it. And if I go through the trees, I'm kind of... line of sight's not going to be good for them. They may not even notice me. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, the ghost does have a pretty good movement, like all of my troops. Has a movement of 9, so I could potentially move up to 18 inches. So if I'm going to try and do the ambush, and I move onto those crates there, it's only going to be like 12 inches. So that's fine. We can do that. So Mary Jane moves through the trees and waits to ambush any of the heroes who approach. It could all backfire badly and I could lose my ghost, but let's see how it goes. And that is my activation done. Because the ghost has a rating of 3, I can't actually activate anything else, because I can only activate up to 4 rating. So that is my turn finished, or my activation finished, sorry. The necromancer is pretty well hidden. They may have line of sight to the top of the necromancer's head, but I'm kind of thinking that the necromancer's not going to sort of stand there with his head poking out. Now, you can't see the head, you can see the top of his staff, so they probably know he's there, but I don't think they can get line of sight in any form whatsoever. So now it's the hero's turn. So activation for the heroes is going to be the priest first, and then the wizard. So we're actually going to be activating the 2 guys at the back here. Priest first. So our priest is standing at the back, nearest to the shrine. I thought that would be appropriate. So the priest specials, blessed weapons. Whenever the priest rolls a critical hit with an offense attack, the priest deals 1 additional damage. So against undead, the priest does +2 damage on a crit rather than just +1. Also, he has a stalwart of faith. He's immune to weakened and cursed conditions. But is he him? He's not immune. He's not immune to slowed, so the Spectre's black bolts will still affect him. Okay. But he also heals 1 durability at the start of his activation. Oh, no. Now, his durability is actually 6 + 3 per rating, and we're up against a level 3 priest. So he's got 15 durability. Right. his actions, there are four possibilities. On a 1, he does shielded stance, moves directly away from enemies if there's an enemy within 1 inch. He then increases, ending that movement outside of 1 inch of all enemies, increases the defense by 1 until the end of turn. So, okay, that's a bit of a pain, but it's fairly passive. Cleaning strike, healing. Okay, healing pulse I don't really care about at the moment because I don't think I'm taking any damage. And the good thing about the priest going first is he's not going to be able to heal any damage they take during the turn, because the warriors are going to activate afterwards, and a lot of my guys are going to activate afterwards as well. So I've got to keep that in mind as well. Blessing, all heroes and the priest within 12 inches get a +1 to their offense and defense until the end of turn. Oh, I hate priests. Priests are a pain. Right, let's roll and see what the priest is going to do. So we roll a d10. I'm using white for the heroes and black for my guys. So the priest is going to do a 4. Cleaning strike. The priest will attack the nearest enemy it can see. If there's no enemy within range, it will move up to 5 inch and then make an attack. If it cannot move and attack such an enemy, it will move and then use its action to move towards the close. Okay, it's going to do a double move. Now, for the priest, that's probably not the best idea, but who cares? The AI is in charge. Now, for the priest, there is only one figure that it can actually technically see, and that's the necromancer. Everything else is blocked by the terrain. And since he can basically see the necromancer move across here, he hasn't seen anybody else move. He's going to actually move towards the necromancer, which means he's going to move 10 inches towards the necromancer. So excuse my arms. So he's going to move 10 inches because his movement is 5. He's going to move 10 inches, which is going to put him there. Hello, Mr. Ghost. But he can't do anything else this turn. Poor little priesty boy. Right. Second person to activate for the heroes is going to be the wizard. So again, we're going to have to activate and roll on his table. Right. Special rules for the wizard. Magical shielding. The wizard gains a +3 bonus to defense for the first offense attack made against it each turn. Note that it says offense attack. It doesn't say anything about the necromantic powers. So I could use a necromantic power against it first, and that won't get the +3 bonus. Walk the mists. Yeah, this is the one that's annoying. At the start of each turn, before any activations, if an enemy is within 6 inches of the wizard, it will teleport 12 inches directly away from the nearest enemy. Now, if he goes off the board, does that mean that he runs away? Or does he stop at the end of the board? Because with the villager card, it had that flee action. The villager moves directly away. If it moves into contact with the edge of the board, the model is removed. It doesn't say that for the wizard, so I'm assuming that the wizard doesn't run away. He just moves to the edge of the board. But again, that can be such a pain. But it's not happening this turn. There's nobody within 6 inches of him this turn, so we're going to be rolling. Again, there are 4 options. We've got Force Globe, Fiery Bolts, Fireball, or Dispel Magic. Oh, Dispel Magic could be a problem. But then so could Fireball, Fiery Bolts. All right, what's the wizard going to do? We roll. We get a 4, and that was almost a 10. A 4, Fiery Bolts. The wizard will attack the nearest 3 enemies it can see. If there are fewer than 3 enemies within range, it will move up to 6 and then make this attack up to 3 enemies. If it cannot move and attack such an enemy, it will move and then use its action to move again. All right, so can it actually see anybody? Right, well, the wizard can actually only see one model, and that's Lita down here. The spectre can be seen through the trees. So he can only see that one. So but the trouble is that his attacks have a range of 20 inches. Now, if we look here, Lita is actually 22 inches away. So the wizard is going to have to move first, and he makes his attack with no modifier. So he's going to move 6 inches and then attack. So he's going to move in front of the... He's going to move, excuse me guys, he's going to move in front of the warriors to about there. And he's got to try and keep a line of sight to the Lita, who's the only enemy that he can see. Okay, Need to move him a little bit across so he can keep line of sight. Right, so he moves 6 inches and then he makes his attack. The trouble is that now he's moved 6 inches, he can actually see both Beth and Lita. So his attack is actually going to be against both of those. That's not good. Now, the fiery bolt doesn't actually have any additional rules in terms of the dice to attack and the damage and anything else. So we're just using the wizard's base offense, which is 2 + 1 per rating. Now we are up against Bob, who is a rating 2 wizard. So the wizard only has an offense of 4. Only has an offense of 4. So we're going to be rolling 4 dice. The spectres of mine haven't had any boosts or any enhancements, so they have a defense of 4. This is a problem. Right, we are going to roll against, I think we're going to do Lita first and then we'll do Beth afterwards. So the wizard is rolling 3 dice, 3d10s, and he needs to get defense of 4. So we need 4s to hit. Oh no. But they are behind the trees, so the forest gives them a +1 because of cover. So he actually needs 5s to hit. No! So Lita takes 3 damage. She has durability of 8, so 8 minus 3 is 5. That's not a good start. And then against the second spectre, against Beth, we're rolling 4 dice again. And we get, oh my god, 3 hits again. This really isn't good, is it? So again, Beth is also down to 5. Uh-oh. We're in trouble. That bloomin' wizard. Oh dear. Right, that is the hero's activation. Excuse my arm. Now it's back to me. Now I can activate. I've activated the ghost already, so I can't activate the ghost again, unfortunately. I can activate these guys. I have to have another spectre back here who could zap the priest. But the priest isn't a problem at the moment anymore during this turn because he's already activated. So I think I'm going to activate my spectres and I think I'm going to blast that wizard to pieces if I can. Now, the range for the spectres is only 10 inches. And I think the first attack, the wizard's going to get a +3 defense. So 10 inches. So I need to be on the edge of the woods in order to hit the swine. Okay. So I will move. Let's do Lita first. So she's gonna move up to 9 and then shoot. So she can move up to the edge of the woods here. Stay within the woods so we still get the modifier. So she's gonna shoot a bolt at the wizard who's in range. Oh, better keep that with them. And I also haven't been putting down the activation markers, have I? Give me 1 second. Right, it's in range. Okay, so black bolt. Deals damage. If it deals damage to an already wounded enemy, that enemy is slowed. Well, he's not wounded yet. But, okay, so our offense is 5. Bump, bump, bump. The wizard gets a +3 to defense for the first offense attack made against it each turn. So it gets a +3 defense. Right, wizard's defense is 3 + 1 per rating. This guy is a rating 2. So he has a basic defense of 5, but he's getting a +3 for this attack. So he's got a defense of 8. Oh no! Right, defense of 8. We get 1 hit. That's not good. Okay, wizard's durability is 8 + 1 per rating. So he's only got 10 to begin with. I mean, that's something positive, I suppose. So he takes 1 damage. That brings him down to 9. Now, when I use Beth to do the attack, he's not getting that +3, which is good. So I activated Lita. I'm now going to activate Beth. She's going to do the same thing. So she's going to end up next to Lita. Again, I'm not too sure whether you're going to be able to see this on the camera. Come on. The swords and weapons are all sticking next to each other. Right. So Beth is also, hurt and on 5. And she is now activated. Yeah, you can barely see them in the trees, I'm sorry. Right. I'll add some pictures so you can see what's going on like I did with the first battle. Right, so she's also going to do her black bolt against the wizard in range. So this time the wizard only has a defense of 5. That's much better. Much, much, much better. Right, come on, we need 5s. Oh, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. That's what I'm talking about. So the wizard is now down to 3 life. There you go. One more zap, and I reckon I can take him out. Now, can I actually get him with the necromancer? Because this is another activation, so I can also activate my necromancer. So I'm thinking, at the moment I can't see the wizard, but I could move the necromancer into the woods, zap, with the negative bolt. I think I'm going to do that because that wizard's going to be a problem otherwise. So I've activated both the spectres. I can now activate the necromancer. The necromancer can move 5 inches. So he's going to move into the woods. Into the woods. Now, negative bolt has a range of 18 inches. We should be fine. Yep, 16. Excellent. So my necromancer is going to cast negative bolt. It costs another 3 points. So we're going from 12 down to 9. Down to 9. So I've got 9 energy left. A little bit worrying, but never mind. Oh, I should have gone through the ruins, shouldn't I? Actually, can I do that? Can I go through the ruins? No, I wouldn't be able to get a bead on him, would I? It's more important to get rid of the wizard, I think. Right. So we're doing a necromantic bolt, sorry, a negative bolt. We're rolling 4 dice. Excuse my arm. 1 success is D10 damage. 3 plus successes is D10 plus D6. Now, the problem is that his resist is a lot higher. So I'm a little bit worried. But if I do kill him, I get 3 energy back. Ooh, that could be nice. So I'm rolling 4 dice. Now, the problem is that his resist is 6 plus 1 per rating. So his resist is actually 8. Uh-oh, that's not good. So I've got to get 8s. Oh! Right, so 4 power dice. We need 8s to hit this guy. We get, oh, look at that. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Say goodbye, Wizzy. Say goodbye, Harry. So we're doing D10 plus D6 damage because we've got 3 plus successes. Can we need how many? 3 to get rid of him. Come on. We get a total of 6 damage. The blast hits him, sucks his soul away. His soul flies across the battlefield into my staff. I regain 3 necromantic energy, which brings me back to 12. The wizard goes down, blasted to pieces by this bolt of negative energy. So we'll move that out of the way. He doesn't need the activation marker anymore. He goes down in a pool of blood. So that is the necromancer has gone. So activated those 2 guys, activated my necromancer. Now it is back to the heroes. Now, the priest is gone, the wizard is gone. It's now the warrior's turn. Activation is based on proximity to enemies. Now, I mean, technically, the ghost is closer. But they don't have line of sight. They can't see him. They can see these guys. So I'm thinking that, okay, so these 2 here are actually closer to these. So I'm thinking that these 2 are going to activate. This guy can't see anybody at the moment. Can he see anybody? No, can't see anybody at the moment. So these guys actually have line of sight to these. So these 2 guys are going to activate in this activation time. Right. So we got warriors. Who are we going to do first? Let us do, excuse my arm. Let us do, who's closest? Scowl is closest. So what's Scowl going to do? Oops. A 10. Oh, no. Oh, no. Double strike. The warrior will attack the nearest enemy, making 2 offense attacks. If there's no enemy within 1 inch, he'll move. Cannot do that. He'll move unused to move double. Right. I mean, it could have been worse if my creatures were closer, but he's going to actually make a double move. His movement is 6, so he can move up to 12. That's actually going to bring him into contact, isn't it? Now, technically, who's closer? I think Lita is a little bit closer. So I'm thinking that he will actually charge right into Lita. So I'm going to need to move these things out of the way. So Scowl jumps over the wizard's body, runs through the alleyway, and ends up challenging Lita, who's hidden by the tree. She is in there. But he can't do anything else this turn. He had to use both his actions to move. Right. The other warrior we're going to activate is Clovis. He's the only other one who has line of sight, so he's also going to do the same thing. But what's his action going to be? He gets a 3. A 3 is a strike. Attack the nearest enemy. If no enemy within 1 inch, it will move its full move to the nearest enemy make an attack. If you can't do that, it will be a double move. So he's just doing double move again. And again, I think he's going to get in contact with Beth, isn't he? He's just out of range, but normally melee is within 1 inch anyway, so he's going to jump over the wizard, and he's also going to get into contact. Again, excuse my arm. Trying to maneuver around the tripods. So, okay. So these two have both activated. Right, okay. I mean, I can move my spectres away hopefully next turn and blast, but what have we got left? Okay, so the heroes only have one warrior left, Arnaud. He hasn't activated yet, and we have that summoned spectre who's behind the ruins. That's all that's left. So 2 heroes have activated. It's back to me. So I'm now going to activate the spectre here and my necromancer. Now the spectres have ethereal and fly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move the spectre through the walls of the ruins and up to here onto the 2nd floor, and then shoot at the priest. I think this is a good position because the heroes are going to have to physically go up the stairs in order to reach, because warriors don't have a ranged attack. The priest does, but I can't win it. I can't do everything. Right. So the spectre is going to move up. Movement of 9 can easily make it. So this spectre is going to move up to here, onto this 2nd floor, and shoot the black bolt onto the priest. Now the priest is not wounded, so he's not going to get slowed, but it's a clear shot. So the spectres have an offense of 5. Excuse my arm. And the priest has a defense of 3 + 1 per rating. Rating of our priest is rating 3. So 3 + 3, 6. All right, I need 6s to hit. Come on. Let's move that a little bit. Right, we need 6s to hit. Come on. We miss with 2, but we get a crit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Now, the priest has a durability of 6 + 3 per rating, so it's rating 3, so 6 + 9 is 15, minus the 4 means that the priest has 11 hit points left. Now, they will heal 1 point at the start of his activation. Not at the start of the turn, at the start of his activation. So if I can hit it again next turn before he activates, he won't have a chance to heal 1 point. But that spectre has now activated. I can now activate my necromancer again, and I'm thinking I'm going to move into the ruins, have a chance to get some energy back, and bolt the priest. Sounds like a plan. So the necromancer is going to move 5 inches the ruins. So now we're going to do a check whether they can get back any energy. So we're going to move those out of the way. We are going to need those in a minute because I think I'm going to do another negative bolt. But we are going to need a D6. On a 5+, my necromancer gets back D3 energy. Come on. We get a 4. Okay, no energy this turn. But we are going to do a negative bolt. Should I do a negative bolt or should I do something else? Rotting curse. No point against the priest because they're immune to cursed. Draining wave. Don't think they're in range. Right, we're just going to do our negative bolt against the priest. So we're rolling four dice. The priest's resist is 4 + 1 per rating, so they are rating 3, so 7s. I need to get 7s. Come on. Oops, sorry. We need 7s. We get 2. No. Oh, so close. We get 2 hits, which means I do D10 damage, which means I'm not going to be able to kill the priest straight away. We do D10 damage. 7. I'm okay with that. So from 11, the priest goes down to 4 health. Not bad. That is the end of my activations. We've now, oops, I think I'll move that a little bit. We've now got the final hero, the warrior here, and that's going to be the last activation of this turn, I think. So they are a warrior. What are they going to do? Bump, bump. Oh no, a 10, double strike. Okay, can it actually see anybody? Well, it can see the spectre that's just popped up onto the ruins, and it can see the necromancer now. Can't see the other spectres, Alita and Beth, so it's going to move towards... I mean, the necromancer is going to be the closest because otherwise he has to go up the stairs to get the spectre. So he's going to charge at the necromancer. He can't get into range for an attack, even though it's a double attack. So he's just going to move twice to get as close to the necromancer as he can. He has a movement of 6, so he's going to be moving 12 inches towards Mr. Necromancer, which is going to bring him to here. What a fool. What a fool, he says. So, put an activation marker next to him, and that is turn 1 done. We have 1 kill, the wizard. The priest, who you can just about see over the rooftop there, is badly hurt. My 2 spectres are badly hurt. I might have to, but I kind of want to, first. I might have to sacrifice one of my spectres in order to get the ghost in first. Decisions. But that is the end of turn 1. Let's move on to turn 2.